Senate, our friends from the BCDA, and our dear guests, I would like to call to order this budget briefing of Subcommittee C of the Committee on Finance on the budget of the Basis Conversion Development Authority. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Win Gatchalian. And may I ask the committee secretary to acknowledge our resource persons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I acknowledge the presence of the following resource persons from the Basis Conversion and Development Authority: Mr. Joshua M. Bincang, President and CEO; Ms. Gisela Z. Calalo, Executive Vice President; Ms. Heda Y. Rolona, Senior Vice President; Ms. Diana Joyce N. Basco Galera, Senior Vice President; Mr. Mark P. Torres, OIC; Ms. Mary Grace C. Darunday, Vice President; Ms. Cheryl T. Corpus, Budget Officer; from the Department of Budget and Management, we have Ms. Lulu Bispo, Director 3; Ms. Cristina May Almujuela, Supervising BMS; Ms. Michelle San Jose, Senior BMS; and Maria Cecilia Abaya, BMS 1. From the Commission on Audit, we have Ms. Sherry D. Collado Tabag, COA OIC Supervising Auditor for BCDA; Rajender Jane Lumilan, Commission on Audit Representative for BCDA. Ms. Michelle, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And please allow me to recognize the presence of our esteemed colleague, Senator Rodante Marcoleta, the Deputy Minority Floor Leader. Before we start this presentation, allow me first to express my support for the BCDA's 2026 budget. The national budget for the next fiscal year is centralized on the agenda for prosperity with heightened focus and sustainable growth and development for the Filipinos today and the many tomorrows to come. A critical component of a sustainability plan is a holistic approach to our development that is a complementary, sustained investment in our people and the infrastructure that facilitates our daily lives. As we all know, the BCDA plays a key role in driving major public infrastructure projects, driving investments, building sustainable communities, all the while supporting the modernization of our armed forces. BCDA has proven to be a true engine of progress and giving the Philippine economy a strong boost. Simply put, when BCDA builds, the nation moves forward. For the year of 2026, BCDA's proposed budget amounts to 2.787 billion, which is 0.041% of the entire national budget. This is an 11.93% increase from the 2024 GAA of 2.49 billion pesos. I know that I share the eagerness of the public to know how the BCDA plans to utilize the requested funds. Based on the BCDA's initially submitted documents, majority of this proposed budget would be utilized for 7 flagship projects, which includes the military application projects, new Clark City Road projects, Clark Airport projects, operation and maintenance of the new Clark City sports facilities, the Subic Clark Railway project, Freedom Park Sports Center, and the National Academy of Sports. To our resource persons from the BCDA, I'm looking forward to know how you would further utilize the budget for the next year, given that we also have the ball rolling on the amendment to the Basis Conversion and Development Act here at the Senate, which I am also one of the principal sponsors. With the proposed budget for the next fiscal year and the assumption that all will go well for the amendment to the BCDA law, I hope to hear how the BCDA will play its role in developing the country's infrastructure landscape while providing economic opportunities to fellow Filipinos. Before we start, let me take this opportunity as well to extend my warmest commendations to Engineer Jake Bincang for your leadership of the BCDA. To end, I'm looking forward to overseeing the discussion on the budget of one of the most essential key players in our infrastructure development plan. It is in our best interest to see through the effective discussion of the BCDA's budget as it will directly affect the trajectory of a myriad of opportunities for our kababayans. Thank you very much. And may I ask if my colleagues would also like to make an opening statement? For the efficiency of today's hearing, we will start the presentation of the BCDA. We will be entertaining questions after the presentation is finished. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Senator and Chairperson Mark Villar, as well as Senator Marcoleta and Senator Gatchalian, and the members of the committee. Presenting is the 2026 budget proposal of BCDA, and thank you very much for the consistent, strong support of Senate on the programs and projects of BCDA. Let me start by showing for everybody's information the role of BCDA and its coverage. We are present in the main island of Luzon with properties in Metro Manila, Pampanga, Bataan, Tarlac, La Union, and Baguio. These are former US military camps, and they are being transformed into vibrant economic centers. And we are also a big contributor to the modernization of the armed forces of the Philippines. So as mentioned by the chairperson earlier, our proposed 2026 budget under GAA is around 2.787 billion. These are earmarked for military replication projects, new Clark City Road projects, sports facilities, including the construction of a dormitory building in the National Academy of Sports, where Senator Gatchalian was present when Secretary Pangandaman announced this project in front of the students. And but hindi po, we started with the 2025 GAA. Continuation, sir. Ito po.
Nag-announce tayo, wala pa palang pera.
Meron na pong
Palakpak pa naman ako nun.
And then meron feeding naman po. So for award na po siya ng December. And then we have Clark Airport projects, as well as the right-of-way acquisition of Subic Clark Railway project. And then next, these are the fund utilization for the budget for 2025. As of August 31, we are already 68%, and we intend to fully utilize this budget by end of the year. And then for 2024, we are already almost 90% fund utilization, and we intend to complete these projects as well by this year. What's noteworthy in our activities is that while we receive GAA support from the national government, the returns that we provide through remittance and dividends to the national government far outweighs or outnumbers the numbers that we receive support from the government. Like in 2023, we received 2.78 billion subsidy, but we remitted 4.22 billion to the national government. Last year, we remitted 5.8 billion, although our subsidy is 2.8, so almost double. And this year, we already remitted 5.4 billion remittance to the government, while the GAA support is 2.49 billion. So, and next year, we intend to further increase the remittance that we are going to provide to the national government for development. So all in all, we already provided, in terms of the fund generation, we already, like this year, we have generated a total of 91.2 billion investment in our activities, and which is expected to generate around 13,700 jobs. And we are continually going to fulfill our mandate by the following projects we are undertaking for Metro Manila Camps, Clark, Camp John Hay, and Poro Point. For Clark, these are the critical projects, infrastructure projects we are going to implement, both infrastructure as well as developmental projects like housing and industrial estates. So we'll go one by one with these projects. For the Clark infrastructure expansion project, we intend to build additional airside facilities for Clark Airport as main gateway for the country. So this will mean building more apron taxiways, as well as at the second runway for the airport to allow simultaneous takeoff and landing in Clark. This is earmarked to be a PPP project naman ho to. So we are already in the procurement of the detailed engineering design because we already have a locator for these projects. These are two big international cargo carriers, which are FedEx and UPS. Especially FedEx, we committed to complete the apron to allow them to start their international Southeast Asian hub in Clark by middle of 2027. And we are also finalizing the contract for another MRO, which is Lufthansa. So they'll be taking a 15-hectare site as well in Clark. So apart from their operations in NAIA, they will also be expanding in Clark International Airports. That's why we are going to expand the airside facilities of the Clark Airport to bring more companies to do business in Clark. Next. Can I ask Assistant Press next? Okay. So we are also doing projects that are aimed at strengthening agriculture and food security. This is a project with the Department of Agriculture to allow the development of post-harvest facilities and food processing operations. So we are about to execute a lease agreement with Department of Agriculture and Food Terminal Incorporated in Clark, near the Clark Airport, to build these facilities to allow us to process products from Northern and Central Luzons and allow for possible even exports of these products. Next. We are right now also strengthening the mass transport system in the whole Clark. That will connect the Clark International Airport with the Clark Pre-Port Zone, as well as the new Clark City. So we have identified areas for development, and we will be offering also this project under a PPP, under a JV or a concession arrangement. And this is another project. While we have already completed the road projects and we already have provider for water and power, what is missing is the ICT infrastructure inside New Clark City. So under the support of the Asian Development Bank, we are about to finalize we are at the tail end of the selection process for this project under a JV. We are using the PPP code, which was recently enacted into law. So we are among the first, this is among the first project to use that PPP code process. So we will be developing this passive infrastructure to allow telco companies, especially under the Konektadong Bill. We will be expecting more participants for this project to allow faster connections for the businesses inside Clark at a lower cost. Next project is to ensure that the workers inside Clark can have their place to stay, and then to save time on transportation and address costs on traffic. We are developing affordable homes in New Clark City. While the entire Clark is not yet open for freehold, because that's the main objective of our amendment bill. But right now, we already have partners that are developing affordable housing. We like the first project that we have launched this year is around 3,000 housing units in New Clark City with a Korean developer. So this will provide opportunities even for minimum wage earners to live inside Clark. and 3 more proposals are being processed right now. Next. And we are offering available areas for industrial development. This year we have signed, number one, around 100 hectares of industrial park. This is among a partnership between a Filipino-Japanese company. They already have existing industrial parks in Batangas, Cebu, and Bataan, and they want to expand up further north. So with this project, we expect more jobs to come in. Their initial investment is around $265 million. And we just approved our board has recently approved the master plan and detailed development plan. So we expect the construction by next year. And we are offering more industrial park areas. And there are several companies we have already visited us, including from Taiwan, because they want to expand their semiconductor businesses outside of their country and consider Philippines as a possible destination for their expansion area. Last week, they were even assisted by PESA, because PESA is the one who will provide the incentives for these companies. And then for John Hayes, since the start of the year when the BCDA was able to recover the operations of John Hay. So we already have more than close to 2 billion new investment commitments, and we have collected around 365 million pesos. We are about to complete the master plan because the master plan is more than 30 years old. We are updating the master plan to allow more developers and partners to consider putting up development and businesses in Camp John Hay. Just this morning, we were able to sign the contract for the long-term redevelopment of Mile High. This is after public bidding. We were able to award the project to Meridian Istana Corporation under former Ambassador Huico. They are the winning bidders. So they will infuse more than 500 million pesos to redevelop the entire Mile High. Next, we were able also to take over the operations of the San Fernando International Seaport. Ito po, napakagandang seaport din po ito sa Region 1 in La Union. We have engaged the services of PPP Center para magawa po ng best land use plan for the seaport. But we are also entertaining unsolicited proposal to manage the long-term O&M of this project. We are currently managing this seaport through our subsidiary, Poro Point Management Corporation. Now we go to the GAA-funded projects that are ongoing. Basically, these are mostly military replication projects po. Like the replication of the entire Philippine Marine Headquarters from Fort Bonifacio to Morong, Bataan. We are doing package 1 right now, and it's almost 95% complete. These are the site development works. Package 2 are the quarters for the Marines, which is around 90% complete. And the package 3 are the offices, which is more than 70% complete. We are in talks with the Marines to have their 75th anniversary celebration be held next month in our new facilities we are building for them. These are the progress photos for the site development works, the main gate, the road networks, and then for package 2, these are the billeting facilities, the barracks, the classrooms, igloo, and these are very modern facilities. We've upgraded their requirements in order to make it more responsive to the needs of our military personnel. And for package 3, this is their new headquarters, as well as their officers' quarters and communication facilities. Opo, it's in Morong, Bataan. So we can invite po Senate to inspect po these facilities. Matutuwa po kayo dahil kahit po ang mismong military, they were happy with the progress of the work, especially the facilities being constructed. Ayun yata, back. Next is the projects naman po with the Navy. Yung kanina po, Marines. Ito naman po, Navy. We're transferring their senior officers' quarters from the area near the new Senate building in BGC to their site in the retention area. And then next, we are also relocating the Philippine Air Force housing facilities from Clark Freeport to New Clark City. So ongoing na po yung site development works, which is around 36%. And next, we are about to ongoing na po yung bidding nung pong mga facilities naman, yung mga housing nila. So for award po siya this year. They will be transferring to an 85-hectare new location inside New Clark City. And then these are the road projects po that were funded also under GAA. Yun to po yung completed na po yung mga to. In fact, the President himself inaugurated the purple line last year, no, when we opened the access road connecting New Clark City to Clark International Airport. But these are the ongoing projects that we have. This is a project which will build the access road for the new Central Bank complex in New Clark City, as well an access road for the Virology Institute of the Philippines, which was recently enacted into law, the operations of the Virology Institute. We inspected this project together with Secretary Soledum last month. So they intend to have some initial operations within the next 2 years. So we are fast tracking the completion of this road as well. And then we are also doing the underground facilities kasi doon po sa New Clark City gusto natin disaster resilient and modern. So the power lines are all underground, but together with the construction of the power lines are also the water, sewer, and ICT. So ka-award lang po ito 2 months ago. And then ito po yung National Academy for Sports. So meron naman po itong initial funding. And so we intend, this is a 400-room dormitory for the students that we have in National Academy for Sports. So presenting naman po this time is the corporate budget of BCDA. So this year is around 13 billion pesos. And we remitted to the government around 5.5 billion pesos. Next year's the same budget, 13 billion, but we will increase the remittance po to the government by an amount of 1.5 billion pesos, so almost 30%. So yun po ang aming commitment to increase further the dividends to the national governments. Other fundings po, budget component, malaki pong napupunta dyan yung debt servicing natin sa ating Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway. Pero ano na po siya, self-sustaining. The revenues that we get from the operation of SETEX is more than enough to finance the loan that we have from JICA. So on that note, Mr. Chairman, we request po yung approval of the 2026 GAA in the amount of 3.87 billion to finance the infrastructure projects in Clark and replication of military facilities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Very I can see there's a lot of projects and there's a lot happening with the BCDA. I just have some questions, and I'm sure my colleagues would also like to ask some questions as well. With regards to I'm interested also in the housing. I saw a housing component there for military. Napansin ko kasi sa military ko, usually yung iba kailangan talaga maghanap ng housing sa labas ng mga kampo. So I saw that you have projects there. Who are these projects? How will these projects be? Will these be given to officer level, or on what level will these facilities be available, or who will they be available to?
Sir, it will be, the projects are for the officers as well as the enlisted personnel po. Like in Clark, all the affected personnel of the Air Force station in Clark will be given the requisite number of housing units as well.
So ilan po ang makakakuha ng housing sa and with the new sa mga bagong buildings?
Sa Clark po, sa Air Force, around 82 units. This is based on the inventory and the full master plan of the area. So that's the full contingent requirement for the Air Force. So close to 700 units.
So pag may 700 na, lahat mabibigyan na ng housing.
Yes.
Kompleto na sa mga naka-station doon.
Yes.
So hindi na kailangan gumawa pa ng additional.
Hindi na po.
I see. And the Marines headquarters, kailan ba yan kailan ba sila lilipat sa Morong?
First quarter now. We intend to turn over the entire project to them by first quarter of 2026. But there are some facilities already ready for turnover. In fact, they requested some of the facilities to be turned over ahead of the others, but the complete project po is expected to be turned over by first quarter of 2026. In a few months' time, Mr. Chairman.
And finally, I was reading, may nabasa ko tungkol sa Camp John. Hey, meron pa rin mga, ewan ko lang kung naayos nyo na lahat ng mga impediments, legal impediments. Ano pong status ng legal, I guess mga legal issues na-resolve na lahat ng legal issues ng Camp John A?
Basically, sir, for us, the main issue with the developer has been settled because the Supreme Court is very clear with the decision they gave that the property must be turned over to the government, which we did. For the third parties claimants, we signed new contracts with them, new fresh 25-year contracts, and we that's so far as the third party claimants, Mr. Chairman.
So even the membership ata ng golf course, di ba, may nagprotesta rin.
For the golf course, yeah. For the golf course, kasi we intend to to open to the public. We are coming up with a business model with them that will recognize their membership before with the previous developer, that will be given priority as well as a pricing advantage for the old members.
Sana maging mas masigla yung Camp John A kasi
Yeah.
medyo mas maganda siguro kung magkaroon pa ng additional. Ang ganda ng Camp John A, ang laki ng potential. Sana ma-maximize. I hope that you're able to maximize the Camp John A with your recent takeover.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's why in the if you will allow, in the master plan that we commission and which will be presented to the board this month, we have identified new areas for development, around 50 to 70 hectares that will be open to new partners while preserving po the environment as much as possible. We don't want to cut the pine trees kasi doon na lang po
Kaya wag sana, yun ang attraction kaya.
So we're trying to come up with small pocket of areas where we can come up with new developments.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, Senwin, we recognize Senwin Gatchalian.
Thank you,
First
Mr.
question.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, first of all, let me commend BCDA for an outstanding demonstration of management. Looking at their net income for 2023, 3 billion ang net income. Then 2024, 16 billion. Is that correct? And then remittance to the government, 2023 is 4.2 billion, of which tama ba ito? 500 million is considered dividends. Tama? Tama ba? 2023, no? And then 2024, 5.8 billion remittance to government, of which ang dividends is 1.5 billion. Tama? My numbers correct? So, ibig sabihin maganda yung patakbo ng BCDA. No? So, hindi nyo nakala ng pera sa amin. Diba? Diba? Bakit pa kayo pupunta dito para makita kami ni Congressman Marcoleta, ni Senator Marcoleta, ni Senator Mark Villar at sasayang lang oras niyo na tanungin pa namin kayo, ang laki naman ng kinikita ninyo. Diba? So why come to the Senate and ask for 2.7 billion if you're giving the government more than 5 billion a year? No? So parang sa akin, diba? I'm sure ayaw nyo na makita kami at tatanungin pa namin kayo, diba? Diba? You only have to come here if you need subsidies.
Yes,
Correct? If you don't need subsidies, you don't have to come here. You have your own corporate
yes.
operating budget. So self-sustaining naman kayo, and that's the design of BCDA, to be self-sustaining. So why come here and ask for 2.7 billion where in fact you're meeting to the government well over than that?
Yeah. Thank you, Senator, Mr. Chairman. It's basically some of our projects are new development areas, especially New Clark City, which needs a lot of capital expenditures in order to prepare the area for investment, as well as to finance the replication of our military units. And it's also in the way our financial structure under the law is established. Meaning po, like, while we have like 10 billion revenues, only 27.5 basically po goes to BCDA for operating budget, MOOE, as well as capital expenditures. Close to 70% goes to directly under the law. No? Military po, they get, if it's a joint venture or a lease, they get 50% kagad po. And then there are at least 16 agencies po that receive shares from BCDA. So our share from the revenues are not enough to jumpstart yet all these projects simultaneously. But the good thing about the support that we get from the national government, when we invest them in our assets, in the following year or years, we can come up with a partnership, attract partners from private sectors, and immediately we can return back the investment that was made by the government through GAA in a form of dividends and subsidy. And then, kagaya ko rin po sinabi ko, also to finance the military facilities as well, Mr. Chairman.
Every year, like let's take 2024, I saw in your slide, pakita natin, you've remitted to the government 5.8 billion. This is a combination of asset disposition,
Yes.
dividends, and guarantee fee. Ito yung
Yeah.
mga, I guess, mga pina-privatize nyo, you know?
Guarantee fees, the loan to the
Okay.
payment to the DOF for
Okay.
guaranteeing the loan they made for the SFS.
Like for example, sa 2024, 5.8 billion remitted to government. But in 2024 also, you requested for 2.8 billion in terms of subsidy. How come bakit hindi nilang rene-retain yan? At wag nang, for example, may gagastusin kayo in 2024, why not just retain it instead of remitting to the government and then asking for subsidies?
Immediately, we have to, Mr. Chairman, we have to remit the share of the beneficiary agencies from the sale. Yes, sir. And there's this one fund concept.
So you cannot retain your earnings. In other words,
yes,
you can only retain for your operations,
for
correct?
operation.
But you cannot retain for capex.
Capex. For
Okay,
capex.
so you have to come back here.
Yes.
Tinatanong ni Chairman, is that nasa charter ba yan?
Yeah. We're retaining the share of BCDAs stipulated, which is around 27.5 for sale under the sale transactions po.
So but that 27.5 is good for your, I would assume, good for your operations yun.
For operations, for debt servicing, meron din po kami mga capex din po we're not totally relying for GA to develop din naman po yung mga assets namin. We're also investing our budget for infrastructure. It's just that it's not enough really to
Oo. So
build at the
tama
same
ba? So
time.
under your charter, you have to give to the government 75% of your earnings. Tama?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
just to keep it
Yes,
simple,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
75%, the 25 may iwan sa inyo.
Opo.
So, and then what you're saying is that 25 is not enough for
Yes.
your capex.
Yes.
Oo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How much is that 25? May I ask? Like for example, for 2024, how much is that? Punto, si Chairman told me that there's a move to amend your charter. So maybe there's a possibility there of amending your charter so you can retain a bigger part of your earnings for capex. No, para hindi na kayo nag-off kasi ino-offset lang eh. Hindi naman sa ayaw namin kayo makita ah. I'm just saying lang to save the hassle of 'di ba? Offset lang naman eh.
For this year, we have around 1.7 capex. Ano rin naman po kami, nag-earmark a big part of our budget for capital expenditure as well as to support our subsidiaries din po pala. Because there are subsidiaries who are not yet self-sustaining. So we're the one providing their budgets, like our subsidiaries.
Subsidy, you're giving
Opo,
subsidy.
we gave 500 million to our subsidiaries in Poro Point and in Janhay.
So for 2024, how much is yung 2024 ba yun?
For
24%?
2025, sir, we have
Magkano yung naiwan sa inyo?
2 point.
Di ba may rinibit kayo sa amin?
Opo.
Sa national, may naiwan sa inyo. Magkano yung naiwan?
Sir, to give us an idea po, so like for 2024, our share is around 2.8 billion. So, but we have an operating expense of around 1.5 billion, and then the capital outlay po is the balance as well as the funding for subsidiaries.
How much is your capex at that time in 2024?
2024.
Yung out of that 2.8. Para lang makita namin how much are you, ang punta ko, how much are we spending for capex on your own? On your own.
Well, 24, because
24 lang, 24.
24.
Sige po. All right. While checking on the yung so you are asking so nag-remit kay 5 billion, you're asking for 2.7, and then I also saw a list of items that will be spent on for the 2.7, yung military replication projects, development of New Clark City, tapos Clark Airport projects, operation of and maintenance of NCC sports facilities, Subic Clark Railway, National Academy of Sports, ito yung dormitory, and then yung Freedom Park Sports Center. Wala na pala yung Freedom Park, no? That's in 2024. Oo. Yung military replication, I thought this is part of the core mandate of BCDA. How come it's still being asked from national government? Hindi ba dapat part na yan ng inyong mandato? Meaning, when you sell assets, you make money, and then part of that money is for replication. How come part of the request is military replication project? In fact, siya yung pinakamalaki, 1.6 billion.
So, sir, the the equivalent share of the military for the proceeds, coming from the proceeds from the disposition. We remit all of them.
O, walang natitira even for replication?
Yes, sir. Kaya nga po parang bumabalik.
Ah,
Bumabalik lang
okay.
po.
Di pa inefficient yun kasi nga part of your mandate is to sell
Yes.
idle government assets and then replicate
Yeah.
the facilities somewhere else, 'di ba? To
Yes.
maximize it.
Opo, opo.
I thought part ng naiiwan sa inyo is the replication cost. Kasi part yun ng mandate eh. Ay, naintindihan ko pa yun, let's say, yung National Academy of Sports kasi outside of your mandate yan.
Yes.
But yung replication is within your mandate. Hindi kasali yun?
We remit the share of the military from the proceeds, sir.
Okay.
Chairman.
And then nothing is left behind for replication?
Wala na po. It's for the BCDA operations and then the
Talaga?
development of especially our economic zones.
So yung
That's where-
kaninang pinakita nyo yung mga morong sa PAF, these are all from the subsidies?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Chairman.
Okay. And then I saw in your net income, there was a one-time gain of 14 billion.
Ano yun?
I think that is 2024. What is that one-time gain?
We were able to dispose last year a property in BGC for it's a 6.1 hectares, and it was recorded the revenues that while the transaction involves several years of financial arrangement, but last year we booked a one-time, how do you call it, one-time revenue entry in our books. Yeah.
Is that the Marine camp, the 6 hectares, yung sinasabi niyong 6 hectares? Is that the Marines?
Navy, it's a Navy facility, sir. It's in front of the new Senate building. The property is in front of the new Senate building.
Okay.
6 hectares.
There's cash. They bought it.
Ano po, parang deferred payments po siya. They have a 20%, ano ba? 20% installment. 20% down payment and 10 years to pay the balance. Sir.
So the 6 hectares was sold. Magkano yun?
It's
More or
around,
less lang. No need to accurate.
yun yung investment commitment. Yeah.
Natanong ni Chairman magkano per square meter raw ang sale?
18, it was disposed at 18 billion.
18 billion.
Yes, sir. And then it's around and they will take care of the replication. Ito po pala kagandahan, sila ang hindi na kami manghihingi ng budget sa replication noon. Nasama na po namin sa terms of reference na sila na ang mag-replicate around 1.5 billion pesos. And it's around it's roughly around 285,000 per square meter.
285.
Yes, sir. Undeveloped area.
Parang mura yun ah.
Hindi,
Diba?
sir. It's
Sa BGC, I'm sure alam ni Mark to. Sa BGC parang naririnig ko 1 million na, di ba?
sa Central po.
Sa
BGC
Central. Central. Tinetest lang kita.
Ito po yung tabi ng Senate po.
Ka lang ni Chairman Mark. Right?
Altus Ventures. It's
So ang benta is 18 billion
yes.
for that property.
Opo.
And then na-record is 14 billion. Kasi I guess to pay pa yung iba.
Staggered po.
Sige. All right. I'm just kasi laki ng gain nyo on that 2024.
Kaya
Ngayon,
kailangan namin maghanap ng
ilan pa ang natitirang ganyan na
Ah,
pwedeng ibenta ng BCDA?
we in that area, sir, in that
In that area,
yeah.
marami kasi tayong bases,
Yeah.
but only in that area.
in that area,
BGC
sir,
area.
around mga 5 hectares na lang po, but this is heavily occupied by informal settlers and retired
So yun
personnel.
na lang ang natitira. 5
Doon po sa
hectares
area
na lang
po
in
na
your
yun.
inventory in that area, in Taguig. Yeah, in that
No,
BGC.
we call it the Bonifacio South.
Bonifacio.
But in the the central BGC Central, one area that is up for the development is the market area. This is a most prime development. The lease that we have in that area will expire po in 2027. And that property alone po, tama po doon, pwede po tayong mag-estimate po ng 1 million per square meter.
Yung kaya
po.
yun, 1
Opo.
million.
So 100 billion na
So
po
in that
kagad yan.
area, in the Bonifacio area, ang mga natitira nilang is your 5 hectares na mayroong ISF.
Opo.
And then what else? That market, how
Tama.
big is that?
10 hectares. 10 hectares.
10
po.
hectares.
Opo.
Okay. Meron pa?
Mga packet of small lots na lang po.
Small lots.
These are
Pero yung
50.
malalaki yung dalawa na lang.
Yun na lang po. ang
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ano na lang. Yeah, I'll finish na lang. I just want to know kung ano pa ba yung potential ng BCDA. At alam ko marami pa kayong ibang tinitignan na
Yes.
areas, no? But
Yes,
in that area, yun na lang ang natitirang dalawa.
Sa BGC.
Okay.
Although in we continue to have shares from the operation of the Bonifacio Global City, the Central, because we have a partnership with under the FBDC subsidiary Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation with the Ayala Campus. So BCDA every year receives 45% share of dividends.
Dividend. So may income stream
May
kayo.
income po.
All right, sige. Well, Mr. Chairman, that's it for now for me. I'll yield to my good friend and
Our good friend.
our good friend and my colleague, Senator Marcoleta.
Yes, the chair recognizes Senator Marcoleta.
Maipigat pa na po.
Mr. Chair, I think the BCDA is coming to Senate
Ma-
year in and year out. It's not much of them wanting us to see them, but it's more of they probably want us to congratulate them for doing well. Tama ba yun? Congratulations.
Salamat po,
Pero-
Senator.
Mr. Chair, kababasa ko kasi ako ang una kong ginagawa, tinitingnan ko yung mga charter ninyo. I was intrigued, Mr. Chair, no? But because here, it says under Section 9 of your charter, yung palang chairman at saka yung mga members of the board were all appointed by the President. Dapat pala makonfirm kayo by CA. Did you know that, Mr. Chair?
I'm not aware po, Mr. Senator.
It's in your charter. It's paragraph 2, section 9, Republic Act 72-27. Sabi niya po, Board of Directors composition. The chairman and members shall be appointed by the President with the consent of the Commission on Appointments. So, Mr. Chair, this law was approved on March 13, 1992, or 33 years ago. Mukhang walang dumaan sa Commission on Appointments. Wala pa naman ako, high school pa lang ako noon, Mr. Chair. Ewan ko, hindi ko alam kung si Chair Gatchalian, baka grade 2. Lalong wala. So, paano ito, Mr. Chair? Hindi, nakita ko lang ha.
Opo,
Ngayon ko
tama.
lang nakita.
Salamat po, Mr. Senator. What is happening right now naman po sa amin is there's this GCG commission which supervise po all GOCCs. So sila po yung gumagawa po ng namin ng appointment recommendations, and so yun po yung pong alam ko po doon, Mr. Senator.
Yes, but you are not answering the question.
Yeah, I'm not aware po
It's
with
your charter. No?
Opo.
Mandatory kasi nagtataka ako, Mr. Chair, kasi yung batas ninyo was revisited twice by Congress. I will tell you, in 1995, through Republic Act 7917, and then again in 2007, through Republic Act 9400. If Congress intended, for example, to remove this provision, they could have done so. Pero dalawang pasada eh. They still maintain this provision, meaning they probably thought of the validity of you and the board being confirmed by the Commission on Appointments. Sa akin lang, so, what do you say?
I will ask our legal officer, but of course we will follow what's in the law.
Siguro,
We'll follow what's in the law.
asan ba yung legal officer ng BCDA? Naku, ang ganda pa naman.
Good
Yung
morning.
manalam na siya,
Ay, good
Mr.
afternoon.
Chair. Did you revisit? Nakita mo ba ito?
Yes, but and so far as the appointment of the members of the board, they are recommended or confirmed by the GCG. But we'll look into this further, Senator Marcoleta.
So, attorney, hindi mo nakita itong Section 9 of your own charter?
We
33 years. Ganun ang katanda ang charter ng
Hmm.
BCDA. So, are you married?
yes, I'm married po. Married.
Kala ko kasi hindi ka pa married dahil siguro lumiligaw sa'yo kaya hindi mo nakakita itong provision na. So, yun lang. I do
Yes
not know where
Hmm.
to start asking kasi this is not repealed. Hanggang hindi na-repeal, kailangan ma-comply because magaling yung mga presentation ninyo. I believe yung mga replication na yan and pag-submit ng pera kung kani-kanino, it's just a matter of accounting eh. Wala man kaming maitanong sa inyo sapagkat mukhang ayos naman. It's just that itong batas na to, sa kakabasa ko kasi, nakalain mo namang makita ko pa ito. So, dalawang bagay lang, magpa-schedule na kayo. Sabihin nyo na, Mr. President, you have to submit our names to the Commission on Appointments para po ma-regularize ito. After 33 years, nakita po ni Chairman Gatchalian. Wag na akong sabihin nyo si Chairman Gatchalian. Okay? O kaya naman, kung nire-revisit naman, Mr. Chair, ano? Patanggal mo na ito kung hindi nyo naman kailangan. Kasi sabi ni Chair Sherwin, tama naman yun, yung magbabalik-balik pa kayo tapos kukunin nyo rin naman eh. Masyadong pabalik-balik na lang yung pera, di ba? So siguro kung i-revisit naman to, Mr. Chair, ano? Kung hindi kailangan to, patanggal mo na. Pero kung kailangan, pa-confirm kayo sa Commission on Appointments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. And I think there may be the opportunity to make changes with the amendments to the BCDA charter. I just have a quick question. What is your intention with the do you intend to support again or to push for amendments to the charter of the BCDA?
Yes, definitely, Mr. Chairman. We have sought the support of the lower house through Congresswoman, former President Arroyo, and Congressman Rodriguez. They filed the bill based on the latest submission that we have. There will only be two provisions, which is the extension of BCDA and the freehold, just that. And we hope in the Senate also, again, if we can have the chairman as our sponsor for this. And we're happy that when it was announced last week, it is among the priority bills that was agreed between the Office of the President and as announced by Speaker D.
Yes, and do you have the support of all the relevant executive offices on the draft of the bill that you or or your proposed your proposed amendments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we address all the concerns raised earlier by the OP. We've talked to the concerned stakeholders and parties, and even the concerned cabinet members, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, and also please, there were certain issues raised up by my colleagues earlier. Perhaps you can also include that in
Yes.
some of the
Yeah.
issues that you might want, or amendments that you might want made to the charter.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And of course, I will support. Of course, I will support. I still believe that we have to. I believe in that those amendments will create even more economic value to the BCDA and the government. So I really hope that I would like to help push that bill. So thank you. At this point, I'd like to recognize
Mr.
Senator
Chairman, just a
Gatchalian.
few more items. I support the proposals of BCDA in its request for subsidy from national government. I just want to emphasize yung National Academy of Sports. This is a bill that that I pushed and I authored and sponsored, and we deliberately included BCDA as the construction arm or construction entity para mabilis, no? Kasi pag DPWH, alam naman natin, no, takes time. So yung National Academy of Sports, we included in the bill that BCDA will be the one constructing para mabilis yung construction. Now on the Subic Clark project, I saw in my briefer that the amounts were all obligated but not disbursed. Zero pa ang na-disbursed. No? Can we get an update on the Subic Clark railway project, and how come hindi na di-disburse yung amount? Ibig sabihin hindi nababayaran. No? Nag-umpisa yung project, may obligation pero hindi nababayaran. So ibig sabihin wala ring movement. No?
Basically, Mr. Chairman, our role in the Subic Clark project is the acquisition of right-of-way for the properties between Clark and Subic. We have already made initial payments with the affected farmers. We're just waiting for the completion of the remaining documents from the landowners in order for us to pay the remaining balance. But it also happened po, because those are prior years obligation. There were years po kasi there were uncertainty whether the project will push through, because before it was to be financed under a different foreign government. Alam po,
Is this?
the Subic Clark Railway
Which
project.
foreign government?
The China.
China.
Sir. Yes,
This is
sir.
going to be financed by...
Now it's by under the Luzon Economic Corridor po kasi they increased the concept and then the extent. It's now Subic Clark Manila Batangas Railway. So it's under DOTR and under feasibility study. That's our understanding with the project. But before, there were concerns that the project will not push through. So we decided not to slow down or to in a way muna po hindi ituloy yung pag-acquire kasi po baka hindi matuloy yung project. But last year when we were given directions that it will push through, so we revisit and reprogram our activities to proceed with the acquisition of the right of way.
In 2026, there's 70 million request
Yeah po.
for, I would assume that's also for right of way.
Right
diba?
of way po.
So my chain of thought is, if the amounts are not being disbursed, minsan ibig sabihin hindi nagagastos, then how come we're requesting another 70 million? So that's my chain of thought. Now, you're saying that the project switched from a Chinese loan to a which multilateral now is lending to this project?
Yeah. Right now, sir, there's no final project arrangement, financing arrangement yet. But what we know is that it's under feasibility study with ADB.
So wala pa?
Wala pa
So
ho.
pwede namin tanggalin yung 70 million? Wala pa eh. Diba? Kasi this is for right of way, but we're still doing the feasibility study.
Yeah.
There's no financing yet.
What what happened po kasi, we already complete the census, the inventory. So the initial funds po kasi are set aside na for those specific landowners. But
Okay.
we continue to add on acquiring new areas for this project. So those are earmarks, sir, for the new areas for the project. Yes, sir. Because
This
it's a 70-kilometer stretch po.
Correct. But this is assuming that the alignment is the same.
Yes, they will follow po the Subiclar. Yung Subiclar po, matagal na po inaccept po ng DOTR.
Okay.
Opo.
So alignment hindi
Hindi na po,
mag-change.
hindi na po.
Bakit pag
mag-change.
gumagawa ng feasibility study if
To extend po from Clark to Manila and Manila
okay,
to
okay.
Batangas.
Kasi before it's only Subic Clark,
Clark lang
no?
po.
Or Clark
Ngayon po,
Subic.
it's like
Now they're connecting it to Manila.
yes, the three major ports of the country, Subic, Manila, and Batangas.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
like times 4 na po yung length.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And the financing of that portion in Subic Clark, which bank will undertake that?
Right? It's just right now feasibility study. Wala pa ho yung
Wala pa yung
design,
portion.
wala pa ho yung construction.
Okay, okay. Kasi meron tayong NSCR, di ba?
Yung NSCR po, tuloy-tuloy na po
Correct.
yan. It's a
So-
different alignment po to.
Hindi ba yun i-extend all the way to Subic Clark? Kasi dire-diretso na yun hanggang...
Eventually, sir, they will meet the north-south commuter rail, which is from Manila, Bulacan to Clark, will intersect in Clark going to Subic.
Ito na yun.
Opo, pero right now, based on the initial design, it's just a cargo or railway operation. So hindi
Okay.
pa ho siya passenger.
Hindi pa siya passenger. Okay, okay. I just want to understand because may 70 yun na nga, no? May 70 million for right of way, but since wala pa nga yung actual financing,
Yeah.
I was wondering bakit may right of way, wala pang financing. But you're saying is with or without financing, yan na yung alignment. Therefore, we will have to buy those properties.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And that is our also participation to this project, that in 2 years' time, when they will be able to secure the financing and the award of the construction, the project will have a sizable area to start on immediately.
Okay. And when do you expect yung groundbreaking ng project?
That is, ano po yun, with DOTR, sir. Di po
DOTR.
Opo, ang role
hindi-
po namin sa
So,
kanila
equity
is
nyo lang talaga is right of way.
right of way lang
All right,
po.
all right. Sige. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much to my fellow senators for your questions the BCD asked. And there being no other questions, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow senators who joined and participated in this meaningful discussion of the budget of the BCDA. Your inputs and expertise are valuable in ensuring that their budget is responsive to the programs and goals of the administration. Maraming salamat po. As the chairman of the Senate Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises, sisiguraduhin po natin na ang budget ng BCDA para sa susunod na taon ay properly allocated sa mga projects na lubos na makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan. Lalong-lalo na po sa mga worker na mabibigyan ng trabaho sa iba't ibang infrastructure projects ng BCDA. Since there are no further questions, the budget of the Basis Conversion Development Authority is now deemed submitted for the plenary's consideration, subject to the discussion and submission of the documents requested. This hearing is hereby suspended. Thank you. Subcommittee C on of the Committee on Finance on the budget of the Philippine Postal Corporation. Let me first acknowledge the presence of our chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance, and Win Gatchalian. Good morning. May I ask the committee secretary to acknowledge our resource persons?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I acknowledge the presence of our resource persons from the Philippine Postal Corporation, Acting Postmaster General and CEO Maximo C. Santa Maria III, Attorney Lee P. Viceral, Assistant Postmaster General for Management Support Services, Attorney Benji S. Yotoko, Assistant Postmaster General for Operations, Ms. Carol C. Terrado, OIC, Office of the Assistant Postmaster General for Administration and Finance, Attorney Marigold Arroyo, Chief of Staff, OPMG. And from the Commission on Audit, we have Renzi Merrill P. Marquez, COA representative for PhilPost, Michelle F. Mamaril, COA representative for PhilPost. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Comsec. Good morning to our resource persons from Philippine Post. Before we start, allow me first to express a short statement of support for Philippine Postal Corporation. As we all know, the Philippine Postal Corporation, or PhilPost, operates a nationwide postal system. The role is vital in ensuring the efficient, effective flow of mails and parcels locally and internationally. However, they were not allocated any funding for the 2025 GAA. As such, PhilPost is requesting a 858.464 million budget for the 2026 fiscal year. This is 0.012% of the national budget. From our initial communications with PhilPost, they presented the snapshot of the planned allocation of this budget. 358.465 is the projected expenses to cover the franking privilege services for 2026, and the remaining 500 million is for the restoration and retrofitting of the Manila Central Post Office building, which caught fire in May of 2023. While this sounds sufficient to rationalize their proposed budget, I'm sure that everyone in the committee and the public watching us right now would want to know how the PhilPost further plans to achieve their declared goals. I also want to know how the agency plans to have the revenue-generating programs and how they would utilize the anticipated income flow to further improve their operations. Before we start the presentation, I would like to commend the PhilPost for your continuous and persevering services to our fellow Filipinos. I hope that we could thoroughly discuss how this committee could aid you in achieving your goals the following year. Thank you. At this point, do you have anything? For the efficiency of today's hearing, we'll start the presentation of PhilPost, and we will ask questions after the presentation is done. Thank you very much. Please continue.
Pleasant afternoon, Honorable Chair, Senator Mark Villar. Pleasant afternoon, Honorable Chairperson, Senator Win Gatchalian. So for this afternoon, please allow us to give you a snapshot of the Philippine Postal Corporation. Next slide, please. So we'll cover our corporate profile and our performance accomplishment, including our request for budget for franking privilege service, as well as the restoration and retrofitting of the Manila Central Post Office building subsidy, and of course, our corporate operating budget. Next slide, please. So the Philippine Postal Corporation, or PhilPost, is mandated to develop and promote and operate a nationwide postal network that extends to any settlement in the country. We provide the collection, handling, transportation, and holding of mails, parcels throughout the Philippines to and from foreign countries. We also determine and dispose confiscated or non-mailable mail matters, prohibited articles, dead letters, and undelivered matters. Part of our mandate is, of course, our function. So we have a sovereign functions divided into two. The universal service obligation. So as a member of the Universal Postal Union, PhilPost, as the designated operator of the Philippines, is required to provide and ensure that all users or customers enjoy the right to a universal postal service involving quality basic postal services at all points in the territory at affordable prices. We also provide franking privilege to various agencies and individuals as provided for in their respective enabling laws or statutes. These agencies or individuals are required to send office mail and communications without postage. Next slide. So our strategic goal for this year and for 2026 is to usher a new era of relevant, inclusive, and self-sustaining postal service in the Philippines by revolutionizing Philippos into a financially viable, market-driven business and prolific player in the supply chain industry anchored on the PDP 2022-2028 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our vision is by 2028, Philippos is the leader in the reliable delivery of communications, goods, and payment services, bridging communities within the Philippines and across the world. By providing efficient, competitive, environment-friendly, and on-time delivery of communications, goods, and payment services within the Philippines and across the world with an empowered team of postal workers, observing our core values in terms of ethical, social, and environmental, people-centered, operational, and customer-centered. We have identified our 8-point agenda for 2026, which include business process development and operations excellence, which includes an implementation of mail management solution that will provide end-to-end tracking of mail, including refleeting program with with an impact to increase operational efficiency and enhance our customer experience. Our 2nd-point agenda is to focus on a customer-centric service orientation, strengthening implementation of a customer satisfaction measurement system, and corporate performance monitoring and evaluation system, which will review and recalibrate our strategic performance measurement systems to improve corporate performance measurement systems. Another 8-point in our agenda is to enhance our financial discipline and viability. So by focusing the disposal of unserviceable assets development programs, and of course the restoration and retrofitting of the Manila Central Post Office building with an impact to increase our collection efficiency, improve our financial condition of corporate assets, and maximize revenue generating potential of assets. We would like also to focus on assimilation of information and communication technology systems, which will include digitalization of postal processes to include our mail management solution, postal payment system, which will reduce processing time and increase operational efficiency. We would like to focus also on propelling our multi-sectoral participation by partnering with local government units for the establishment of postal stations. This will somehow increase accessibility of postal services in underserved communities. Of course, in terms of our human resources, we'd like to focus on their development and their enhanced performance and enhancement by continuous implementation of learning and development programs to address competency gaps of personnel. This will somehow upskill our competent workforce and improve our individual productivity. We would like to focus also on our legislative advocacy program, which will revisit and the proposed amendment of our charter and mandate of the corporation, which we intend to increase because we intend to increase our competitiveness in the organization and to be more responsive to the changes in the market. Next slide. Currently, we have a total of 6,810 personnel complement. Almost 48% of the personnel complement are contract of service workers. So indeed, there's a need to hire regular employees. So as such can be designated as accountable officers that could supervise operations in our post offices. However, hiring more regular employees will entail additional cost to the corporation. And looking at our post office profile, we have a total of 1,212 post offices strategically located in 1,021 cities and municipalities. There still are 621 municipalities without physical post office. These areas have low revenue potential but PhilPost must provide postal services in these areas as part of its universal service obligation. In doing this, it incurs costs on personnel, supplies, and MOOE. A snapshot of our postal coverage in terms of areas. Right now, we covered 9 areas. We have divided our postal operations into 9 areas. So only PhilPost has the last mile delivery, which brings reliable service straight to the doorsteps of even the remote barangays, barrio, and sitios. And in terms of our market share, based on the PSA data on national accounts of the Philippines for calendar year 2024, PhilPost was able to contribute around 2.2 billion or 6.14% of the total 37.31 billion total revenue of the courier market. As the demand for the e-commerce rises, PhilPost is not able to capture a significant portion of the parcel delivery of goods and merchandise. So as e-commerce demand continues to grow, PhilPost must adopt a more customer-centric approach to effectively capture a larger share of the parcel delivery market. By strengthening our operational efficiency, service excellence, PhilPost aims to set the benchmark in the industry and position ourselves as a leader ahead of private couriers. And looking at our 2024 performance scorecard, we would like to highlight our achievements during that year in terms of delivery performance. We have able to meet the delivery performance targets. And in terms of municipalities and cities with postal access, we were able to attain 22 additional cities, municipalities with postal access, or we were able to reach 110% of the target. And in terms of customer satisfaction, we were able to achieve 97.95% satisfied customers. In terms of percentage of employees meeting the required competencies, 50.62% of employees met the required competencies. And in terms of volume of postal transaction, next slide, please. We were able to meet 61% out of the target in terms of international posted. And we were able to handle domestic posted mails by achieving 35.8 million, exceeding our target for that year. In terms of delivery or these volume delivered, we were able to achieve 68% of the target, while in terms of domestic, we were able to deliver 109 million, exceeding the 101 million target. Looking at the revenues in 2024, 2.2 billion out of the 4.8 billion target was achieved. And in terms of compliance to quality standards, we applied or we are currently complying with the UPU quality service certification. And in terms of performance measurements for postal outlets with enabled track and trace, 72.27% of postal outlets with connectivity for track and trace. Comparing this, next slide, please. Comparing this to the first semester of 2025 performance, you're able to post a total of 0.39 million out of the 1.25 million target for international mails, while 15.35 million out of the 36.5 target domestic mails were posted. In terms of delivery, international, we were able to achieve 1.8 million out of the 7.7 mails. And for domestic, we were able to deliver 47.78 million out of the 119 million target domestic mails. And in terms of revenues, for the first semester of 2025, we have a total of 1.1 billion out of the 4.4 billion target. And with regards to compliance to quality standards, we're working on the security for the UPU quality service, security certification. And currently, we have a total of 18 out of 30 target additional postal outlets with connectivity for track and trace. If I may be allowed to skip.
Yes,
going
yes, sir, if you can, maybe let's, so we can move on with the questioning. If you can just,
Yes.
give us the major points. Anyway, we can read
Yep.
the presentation. So if you can just, make it, brief.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. I'll just focus on the Franklin privilege. I'll just go to the details. Looking at this, for 2024, there's a total of 8.6 million. And for 2025, right now, for our franking privilege, serving the franking privileges, we have around 6.5 million. And for 2026, we're projecting around 6.7 million, covering the franking privilege. Next slide, please. So with that, for the projected calendar fiscal year for 2026, our projected volume is around 6.7, which amounts to 358 million, total covering total agencies for the franking privilege. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. With regards to the status of fund utilization, in 2024, the proposed subsidy then was 546 million, but out of that amount, only 70 million was appropriated to our agencies. And for this year, out of the proposed subsidy of 521 million, we didn't get any appropriation for the franking privilege. Next. This is another aspect in terms of our budgetary requirements. It's just the restoration and retrofitting of the Manila Central Post Office. As mentioned earlier, on May 21, the Manila Central Post Office was destroyed by fire. So this is significant and architectural, important cultural property. And among the structures in the Manila city, other than the Manila City Hall, this is the only building which retains its integrity, meaning it started as a post office, and until right now, we're operating as a post office. And it's the only building in Manila which has a 360 degrees view. So these are the conceptual design for the Manila Central Post Office building. Okay. So for this, our estimated cost, total amount is 2.2 billion, which will complete, targeted to be completed by 2027. So if I can, skip to the summary, please. That's it. Summary. One slide back, please. Honorable Senators, so in summary, the franking privilege is the provision to selected agencies and individuals, and PhilPost is incurring cost. An estimated 358 million in operating expenses shall be incurred in the processing and delivery of the projected 6.78 million pieces of frank mails for calendar year 2026. This amount could have been used to fund the much-needed postal modernization and digital transformation program, including repair, rehabilitation of facilities, including the fleeting program that can significantly improve our operational efficiency and make us at par, if not better than our private competitors, especially serving the far-flung and underprivileged communities. Another point to consider for our budget request is the restoration and retrofitting of the Manila Central Post Office building. Allow me to take note of Republic Act 10066, which provides an act providing for the protection and conservation of the national cultural heritage, wherein the MCPO building, as a declared important cultural property, qualifies for the priority government assistance to support its project protection conservation, and restoration. This ensures the preservation of our structure, cultural and historical integrity, while enabling its sustainable rehabilitation and adaptive reuse. The restoration of the building will signal the new era of the postal service in the country, as we all know, have been declining for the past years. And the building structure, when it was designed in 1926 by the Bureau of Public Works, commissioned architect Juan T. Carellano, they have a vision of making the Manila Central Post Office as the center of communication, looking at its strategic location beside the Pasig River. It was considered as the gateway of information. So with that vision, making the post office as the forefront in introducing technology and information in the country. So with this, we're hoping to bring back that glory to our government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just a few questions. I'm interested in this post office building now. In your plan, this estimated cost is the cost of completely refurbishing it, even including, of course, if you'd want to use it as an office, you would have to do some modifications to the for the wiring of the building, etc., for technological, I know, for technological purposes. Does that include that, like in the budget, or is this just purely the facade, the facade and exterior?
It will restore to its original structure, which includes the interior and the foundations. So the project will cover not only the restoration, retrofitting, and rehabilitation of the entire structure, entire building.
Have you ever considered different uses for the Philpost building? Because, well, I mean, for your operations, it might require buildings that are more that are designed to be more technological in nature. Have Wi-Fi, have the necessary wirings, which would to do that in this kind of building. It's not designed to be the design obviously was done way before any of these technologies were available, so it might not be conducive to the digital age. So have you ever considered some other possible uses? And then maybe, and I'm just suggesting, I'm just brainstorming. You suggest maybe you could hold office somewhere where it's more ideal for the nature of your business, which is really communicate like in this day and age, it's really about communication. It's really about technology and communication. A building like this is very historical. It's very beautiful. I'll cite an example is the Fullerton Hotel in Singapore. It was converted into was a former, I believe it was a former post office also, which was converted to a very beautiful hotel. And I'm not saying that I'm suggesting that that's what you do, but have you considered other options for this building and your operations?
Yes, sir. When it was declared as an important cultural property in 2018, it's pre-pandemic, so we immediately did a conservation management plan, consulting, heritage experts on how to preserve the structure. The conservation management plan includes not only, the significance and the integrity of its design and engineering, but also future use. And I'm excited to say that the outcome or the output of that conservation management plan showed the vision of the designers during that time. It was a part of the grand plan of the master planner Daniel Burnham in designing Manila. That's why its location, if you notice, among other government buildings in the Manila area, it was placed strategically beside the entry point of Manila, which is beside Pasig River. Because the vision then is, power, the authority of the government, which is information and communication. That's why the Bureau of Posts used to be under the Department of Transportation and Communication as a Bureau of Posts. So in looking at the design of the building, if you happen to see the inside, the spaces are there are free spaces, high ceiling, because the vision there is somehow the concept of sustainability, meaning the expansion of the postal service and delivery service in the country. And looking at that, the use, that's why we're going back to our roots by offering, maintaining the operations of the Manila Central Post Office, a lower level, the basement, to showcase, our improvement and digitalization, hopefully. And of course, the lobby will be turned into postal museum, where in other postal organization or other countries, they have postal museums, to as part of the roots, going back to the roots. And we also vision, putting up spaces, concept for shared spaces, and another floor will be allocated to develop it as an innovation hub. So offering, technology, knowledge sharing, knowledge building spaces for startups. And geographically, because of its geographical location, it is, located. There are several universities around the area wherein we can offer this space for them to, to build their knowledge, build their skills, and improve, the concept and the vision in terms of, technology and communication. So, and in turn, we hope to generate, revenues out of this because of the shared, spaces, which is the current, um, setup right now because of, open shared offices. So basically, we're considering that.
So it's a very iconic building. In fact, it can be one of the if managed properly, it can be one of our major tourist attractions in the country. It's a beautiful building. So I hope that your plans will maximize the historic value of the museum, while at the same time maybe generating some sort of income for. I can see your operational losses here are significant, and partially also because of the franking, I guess. A part of it is that, but hopefully that can also generate some income to maybe offset some of the losses and how you can study it. But definitely, I support the budget that you're allocating to restore it. I think it has to be restored, and I hope a lot of planning goes into it so that we can really maximize it as a tourist, some sort of tourist destination with museums, etc., because of its historic value. So I really support that, and I hope you can keep us updated on. Senator.
Thank you.
At
Thank
this
you,
point, I
Mr.
recognize
Chairman.
Senator Win.
Yeah.
Gatchalian.
So itong Manila Central Post Office will be the renovation and retrofitting will be undertaken by PhilPost. Kayo ang alam ko si ang NHCP is also very active in this type of structures, but who will undertake the retrofitting and renovation? Kayo na yon?
Unfortunately, sir, we do not have the capacity and, the technical know-how in, doing this. That's why we're commissioning, outside. And
Yeah. But I know you're getting experts, no?
Yep.
But who will be the implementing agency?
okay, sir. It will be the construction, the design and build will be done by the DPWH.
Okay.
And then of course, with the supervision of the NCCA under the RA 10066, being, them as the implementing agency for conservation and restoration of heritage properties.
So the one you're asking in 800, that includes the 500 for renovation, diba?
Yes, sir.
But you will not be undertaking it. It's DPWH.
Yes, sir.
So how does that work? You will give them the money?
Yes, sir. We will supervise, so they will do everything, the procurement. So it will be a partnership, of course, with the supervision of the NCCA.
But yung kukuha ng plano, yung implementing agency, yung
Yes, sir.
ano yun, parang project manager, sino yun?
It's a DPWH, sir.
DPWH.
Apo.
But yung kagaya ito, yung who made this concept, itong museum, meron siyang galleries. This is from whom?
Okay, sir, this conceptual design for the building, we did that study internally based on the conservation management plan that we did in 2018. So simultaneously consulted with the NCCA if of course we want to retain the heritage, the integrity of it, and then the procedure on how to go about in conserving and restoring this kind of heritage properties.
So it's still Philpos who will spearhead
Yes, sir.
kayo pa rin. So
Apo.
that's why the budget will be lodged under you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I know this is a major undertaking, a major activity. So I just wanted to know if Philpos the one who will undertake this or if some other agency will undertake it. Of course, you can farm out to DPWH and
Yep.
others. But I'm ano lang who's going to take the lead, in other words, no? So it's Philpos
Yes,
pa rin.
sir.
Okay. And then you said it's a 3-year program.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then I support the comments of our chairman. Napakaganda ng building. It's sad that nasunog siya. But we're very supportive in putting it back to life, no?
Thank you very much.
So that's why I wanted to know who's taking the lead. On a separate note, I also saw in your market share that Philpos has 6.1% market share. No?
Yes, sir.
And basically, I guess your main client is government. Wala nang iba.
We also serve private, sir.
In your pie, how big is government? How big is private? In your revenues? You generate how much? 2 billion in revenues?
At least for the male, including me. Sir, for males, 60% private and 40% government.
60% private,
Yes, sir.
40%. So meron pa rin private
Yes,
who's
sir.
using. Okay. Because I think the government is the most important client, no? Because of their procedures. For example, nakita ko pinakamalaki, judiciary.
Yes, sir. That's for the franking privilege.
Yeah, for the franking privilege. Because the judiciary, they have, meron silang yung due process, no, when
Yes, sir.
they send the mails. But right now, Mr. Chairman, I know for a fact that the judiciary is moving into the digital age. They're doing away with all of this franking privilege or franking activities. Magdi-digitalize na sila, no? I think with the World Bank's sponsored their activity, and their goal is paperless na pagdating sa mga due process activities. So how will that affect Philpos?
Okay,
Have you
sir.
foreseen that? And I support the judiciary's move, kasi nga papadala lang ng sulat, 'di ba? Comsec, minsan dalawang buwan bago makuha yung sulat, tapos na yung proseso. So ngayon puro internet na ngayon, puro email.
Yes, sir. Sir, for that, kasi bulk of their mailing requirements falls under po sa franking privilege.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's why they're utilizing it. They have the.
Yeah. Paano pag nawala yun in judiciary? And hindi malayo yun, because in fact, nung nag-budget hearing, a big chunk of their budget is for digitalization.
Yeah.
And we told them that, okay, we digitalize, pero tanggalin nyo na yung papel, yung mailing. Paano na yun?
Actually, sir, ngayon, based on studies, even, globally, there's already a shift from, the postal mails to e-commerce.
Yes.
Meaning from mails going to parcels
Yes.
and packets. So that's why, sir, we need to prepare for that.
But if
stage.
you will do, if you will move into parcels, diba, Chairman, you would rather deal with the private, like for example, si JNT or sino ba? Ninja Van. Si Ninja Van, yun. Mahilig ako sa Shopee.
Yeah.
Ano na ako, platinum member na ako sa Shopee.
Mhm.
So Ninja Van, parati nakukuha ko yun eh.
Yeah.
They don't use Philpost. I've never received a Shopee product na ang gamit Philpost. 'Di ba? Sino ba dito nagsha-Shopee? Kayo lahat nagsha-Shopee kayo, 'di ba? Puro it's Ninja Van, JNT, di ba? Ano pa ba? Ano ba yan? Parang kayo, alam nyo naman yun,
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
So, bakit hindi siya PhilPost?
Okay, sir. Like what I've mentioned earlier, the Philippine Post is one of the members of the Universal Postal Union. So it's a conglomerate union of post offices worldwide. So if there are, senders coming from abroad using postal office in that respective country, so ang entry point nun is the post office. So that's the inbound. And the same way that, customers would like to, send something abroad, outbound. So of course, exclusively that's catered by the Philippine Postal or Corporation. So PhilPost. However, with the emergence of this new e-commerce industry, well, when we were studying, we thought that we should not be in competition with this e-commerce. Perhaps we can collaborate more. And the strength of the post office is the last mile delivery, which is the mandate of the post offices. Imagine if a private courier service catering to a far-flung, that will entail cost for them. But PhilPost has we're mandated to provide postal offices or to be present in these far-flung areas, which somehow can be tapped by these private couriers or for us to use. However, that's a big challenge for us is how to equip these far-flung post offices. Of course, that's additional costs for us, but like what I mentioned, it's part of our sovereign function to serve these communities. That's why that's a big challenge. Unlike in private corporations, wherein additional capitalization can be infused to improve the operational efficiency. But in our case, we're government-owned in corporation, so we earn from our keep. So to maintain this.
And I'll be honest, and I don't say this to demean anyone or to insult anyone, but in my experience, like I bought something just recently lang in Hong Kong, Mr. Chairman, and they that seller pinadala niya sa akin using ordinary Hong Kong mail. Ang connection yata ninyo dito is PhilPost pag ordinary mail. And I've done this many times also in the past. And I say this with in truth. Halos every time pag PhilPost delay. Delay siya talaga, no? Unlike si JNT, pag sinabing dadating in 5 days, 5 days. Pero si PhilPost parati siyang delay, no? So ang punto ko dito reliability, no? Reliability. And that's why most of these e-commerce sites, they use itong mga private because of reliability. Hindi pwedeng pag-order ka, let's say, ng gamit sa Shopee, tapos hindi dadating kasi sila madedemanda nun, no? So that's one. That's why I made that comment that your government is your biggest client, and I understand if government is your biggest client, meaning you're fulfilling a service to government, no? And but I also want to manifest this to you that government is also moving into digitalization, no? At nakita ko sa mga budget ng gobyerno ngayon, ang daming digitalization, ICT budget. Diba? Tanong mo si LBR mo, puro digitalization, puro ICT. And I always tell them, bakit? Is to streamline, to eliminate red tape, to make it paperless. So with that in mind, you have to think of your future. Baka pag nag-paperless na rin yung gobyerno, yung biggest client ninyo, which is 40%, mawawala na siya. So my point there is, PhilPost should look at the future, because the future is changing, and we cannot keep on subsidizing PhilPost all the time. Kaya pinunto ko itong 500 million kasi naintindihan ko naman na you need to renovate. But moving forward, the operation should evolve or else magiging wala ng meaning for government ang service ng PhilPost. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And if there are no more questions, Thank you very much, Postmaster General Santa Maria, for your comprehensive presentation. So at this point, we just like to thank you for this for your presence here today. It's and also I'd like to thank all the my fellow senators who joined and participated in this meaningful discussion of the budget of the PhilPost. Maraming salamat po. And since there are no further questions, the budget of the Philippine Postal Corporation is now deemed submitted for the plenary's consideration, subject to the discussion and submission of the documents required. This hearing is hereby suspended. Thank you.